taking a trip out today from Mataranka, where we're the caravan park where we're parked. We're probably about 15 kilometres south of Mataranka, and we've come out to look at the original Elsie Station homestead site. Probably means nothing to a lot of people, but as we progress you'll understand why this is important in the history of Australia. This is the plaque at Elsie Cemetery, and the reason why Elsie Cemetery is here, and the reason why we've come here, is one of Australia's best known authors, Jeanine Gunn, wrote a book called We of the Never Never, and this is where the book was written and about which the book was written. Jeanine Gunn died in Melbourne on June 15, 1961, and a memorial lies adjacent to the grave of her husband. The site of Old Elsie Station Homestead is a little bit further down the road. Elsie Cemetery was declared a heritage place by the Northern Territory Government on the 14th of March 2001. Pastoralism came to this area in June 1881 when Abraham Wallace and his nephew J.H. Palmer drove 2,728 head of cattle and horses around the Gulf of Carpentaria, up the Roper Creek or Roper River to Warlock Ponds, named for the horse of Surveyor Gilbert McMinn, and to stock Elsie Station. This is the entrance to Elsie Cemetery and National Reserve. So let's go have a look. This is the sign of the unknowns. Excuse me. There were several graves here at Elsie Cemetery where the occupants are yet to be positively identified. These include the following: Tom Pearce, John McLennan, J.H. George Conway, William Cleary, Jack Angus Grant, and Edward Little. There are also the unmarked graves of a baby and an Aboriginal woman located within the cemetery. This is one of those unknown, unidentified grave sites, and as you can see here, this is gravesite of William Miller. He was a gold miner who died at Elsie Station in around about 1902 or 1903, but it was later mentioned by Mrs. Jeanine Gunn that his death was actually in 1901. This is the gravesite of George Hughes. He was a young horsebreaker from Croydon. He born in 1874, and he died of malaria fever on the 4th of March 1899. We're coming up to the grave of William Neves. William Neves was born in 1858 in Wollongong, New South Wales, and he travelled regularly throughout New South Wales, Queensland and the Northern Territory, and he walked at White Cliffs and MacArthur River Station. He was taken ill and in 1902 and died on the 23rd of July 1902. Coming up to the cairn, I would imagine this is a cairn in honour of the actual cemetery. Basically it says, in memory of the last survivor of we of the Never Never, Bet, the little black princess, Dolly Bonson, who died in Darwin, 3rd of March 1988, aged 95. A little more of the sign here basically says that the girl talked to the stars. As you can see, the grave sites are fairly well spaced out and come in a lot of different formats. This is the gravesite of Private Nugget Raymond, VC, Victoria Cross. He was born in Queensland on the 24th of October 1882, and Nugget arrived in Katherine in 1900. He was buried at Elsie in 1968. He was known as the Dandy Stockman. These are two other graves of same vintage. Again, we're walking down the track. They ask you to stick to the track, obviously. So this is the gravesite of Lee Ken rather. Lee was a Chinese cook, lo and behold, who died at Elsie Station on 18th of February 1903. Lee Ken was riding from Darwin to Daly Waters to take up a position of cook when he became ill during Chinese New Year at Elsie Station. The burial service was performed by the Malacca Ananus Gun. Ananus Gunn. He was the husband of Janine Gunn, who wrote We of the Never Never. Following the track round, this is the gravesite of Henry Ventilia Peckham, and they could refer to him as the Fizzer. He was born in 1872 in Adelaide, and he was a stockman at Renner Springs. Later he moved to Victoria River Downs, and the Fizzer, or Henry Peckham, died when he attempted to cross the flooded Dashwood crossing at Campbell's Creek. His remains were recovered from the banks of Campbell's Creek and reinterred at Elsie Cemetery on the 14th of September 1944 by Brigadier Dollery of the NT Force. Okay, this is the burial site of Aeneas James Gunn, or referred to as the Maluka. A pastor's son from Campbellfield in Victoria, a librarian at Paran, Melbourne, and a Fellow of the Royal Geographical Society, Annaeus sailed from Melbourne with his cousin Captain John Bradshaw on the schooner Gemini to Palmerston, Darwin, to take up management of Elsey Station in 1902, of which he owned a quarter share. Captain Joseph Bradshaw then went on to establish Bradshaw's Run. Annaeus Gunn died only a short time later, on the 16th of March 1903, from malarial dysentery, or what they call blackwater fever, a common illness of the time. The sad part about all this is that Mrs. Janine Gunn, OBE, was referred to as the Little Missus, and she is most famous for writing the novels We of the Never Never and The Little Black Princess. She is buried, unfortunately, in Melbourne, which is her hometown, and she never returned to Elsey Station. But her thoughts always remain with her husband, Annaeus Gunn, the Molucca, and of the place called the Never Never. This is just another one of those unmarked or unnamed grave sites. As we referred to on the entrance, there were several unmarked grave sites. This is just one of them. Well, I must admit I'm not an avid reader. I'm really not a reader at all. But I have seen the film We of the Never Never, and I'm very interested to get home and have a look at it again, just to see how much poetic license or dramatic license was used in the actual making of the film. This is a wonderful place. There's a lot of history here, and I would recommend, if anyone's coming up this way, to drop by. It's not far off the Stewart Highway, sorry, and I would recommend you come and have a look and learn more about the history of Australia. They refer to it as the Never Never, and I can guarantee you we are basically in the Never Never. This is a massive country. Okay, so this is the site, this is the area on which the old Elsey Station homestead stood. And of course the homestead is portrayed in the story We of the Never Never. The cairn was erected in tribute by nursing sisters of the Australian Inland Mission on the 5th of May 1956. This is what the homestead looked like in its day.